this video, I'm going to be talking about competing, and more specifically, how to deal with or reduce nerves at speedcubing competitions. I'm not the best at this, however, I do think I have improved significantly over the past year or two, so I'm just going to give my thoughts and what I've been doing to improve at this myself. Most people just give the tip that you should compete more and you'll eventually get used to it and start getting similar to your home times, but that does not work for me, and I'm assuming a lot of other people who have problems with this. So for myself and hopefully, or not hopefully, but I'm guessing a lot of you watching this video, you probably have these similar problems where no matter how many comps you go to, you still seem to do poorly. So there's kind of two things that go into how you're going to compete at the competition. The first one is how you compose yourself and your mindset at the competition, and the other one is preparation at home. So I'll start by talking about your mindset and how you're composing yourself at the competition. So for myself, the thing I find the most difficult to get over is the kind of social environment of competitions. Whenever I go up to solve, I'm kind of afraid that someone's going to judge me. Since there's so many people watching, I'm always thinking, what happens if I mess up, and what are they going to think of me? And to get used to that, it also goes into preparation at home. You kind of have to get used to solving in front of people. But to deal with the kind of social pressure of solving at competitions, I like to just stare straight down at the table or my warm-up cube, and during the, say, like 5 or 10 minutes where I'm competing in that round and waiting to be called up, or actually at the solving station, I never look up at the crowd. I don't look at other competitors. I don't look at anything. I basically just stare straight down and try to kind of isolate myself. Keep in mind that this is what I do personally and what works for me. I've talked to other cubers and they say that kind of not talking to anyone, not looking at anyone else kind of gives them more stress or pressure to compete well. But for me, I think it kind of makes it more similar to an at-home experience where I'm not really looking at anyone else or talking to anyone else. So that's that aspect. Next, I think it's really useful to experiment with a mentality, or different mentalities. So try being overconfident, try not having confidence, try being aggressive, well, at least in your mindset when you solve. Try being calm. Keep trying different things until you find a sort of state of mind where you think you perform best and you can both get good times and stay relaxed in general. For me, I still haven't exactly found this yet. I kind of just try to clear my mind, which is the next thing that I'm going to talk about, which is focus and isolating your mind. For the longest time, I used to just sit down and tell the judge to start the solve, and just go right into it. But I found that I'd waste a lot of time in inspection because I'd be completely distracted. So what I do now is I sit down for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, we have up to a minute according to the regulations, since from when we're called. So I sit down, I do a warm-up solve, I set up the camera, I start doing some breathing, I look down at the cover and I think, okay, I'm going to solve this cube right now, I'm going to inspect and find something good, okay, I'm ready. So just getting into that sort of focused state I find has been really helpful for me, and I think a lot of you can benefit from using it. And I think I talked about this before, but having a kind of isolated mind. So when you're at the solving station, you shouldn't be thinking about anyone around you, not the judge, maybe kind of the judge if they're giving you 8 and 12 for inspection, kind of the judge, but you shouldn't be thinking about any other competitors or anyone in the crowd. Just stare right there. It's just you, the cube, the timer. You've done this 1,000 times at home before. You know exactly what you're doing. You should be confident enough to go into that. And this is where I think confidence is important. So if you actually put all the practice in at home, once you sit down, you're going to see the cube. Well, you're not going to see the cube yet, but you're going to see this cube under the cover. You're going to sit there, and as long as you've done all that preparation, you should have confidence and go into the solve thinking that it's going to be a good solve, and the moment the judge lifts the cover, you should already know that you know what you're doing, and it's just a cube, you should know how to solve it. The other technique that a lot of people use, including myself, is kind of downplaying the importance of both the solve itself as well as cubing. So say it's at a local competition, it's pretty easy to think, oh, it's just a local competition, not really a big stage, not much to lose, not much to win either, so it doesn't really matter what you get in the end. Also, if you're not really going for any records, you don't need to worry about failing or other people beating you, and if it's not a championship or national or continental or worlds, there's not really that aspect to think about. At the very high level, I guess in like big finals, this could get very difficult because you know you're at the big finals, so you just have to try to convince yourself that cubing isn't as important as you think it is. It's just a hobby for most of us, and these few solves, even though they might be the most important solves of your cubing career, in the grand scheme of your life, it's not really going to affect you that much. So this is something that I've been working with. Also, something I talked about in the other video about practicing effectively is visualization. So if you're in the competitor area, and sometimes you're having trouble clearing your mind, what I like to do is, instead of talking to other people, which I find distracts me and kind of makes me more nervous, is to just visualize myself at the solving station, maybe visualize myself inspecting, starting a timer, something like that, to reassure myself that I know what I'm doing. And going back to the kind of thought of talking to people or looking at other people, the reason I don't like that is not only the social pressure of having other people watching you solve, but also because it adds a competitive aspect to it that I don't really like. Whenever I race anyone, like head to head, like just unofficially, I always do slower. I always do worse than usual because I'm constantly thinking about what they're gonna get and if I'm gonna beat them. So if I like watch other people solve and I know what times they're getting, I'm gonna be thinking about what times I have to get to beat them, and immediately that makes me mess everything up because I'm nervous and I put so much pressure on myself to beat them. So I try to completely isolate my mind and myself from other people while I'm in the round. And if you're having problems with kind of being too competitive and trying to see what other people are getting, I think you should definitely try that out. So now I'm done talking about how I compose myself at comps and how I recommend that you should start experimenting with different mindsets. Lastly, I'd just like to say a few things about preparation at home. So this one I think most of you have a pretty good grasp on, but I don't think all of you are doing it. So basically everyone knows about the competition simulations. A lot of people have started doing them. Max Park has been doing them for a long time. Sunghyuk Nam's started uploading some of them now. But basically what this entails is trying to replicate a competition environment exactly at your solving station at home. So basically you're going to need a mat, a stack mat timer, this wire right here that lets you connect the stack mat to your computer is incredibly useful. So you can do inspection time and don't have to type in times. Also having a cube cover like this one, it's not really made right now, but cube cover and a warm-up cube, all that type of stuff really helps. And walking around between solves, just trying to replicate a competition environment as much as you can at home will really give you that confidence and experience that you need in competition. So once you sit down, you know that you've done this exact same thing 1,000 times at home and there's not much that can go terribly wrong. So overall this helps with confidence, which is the main factor that I think all of you should start to develop, as well as just developing your other mindset capabilities and how you're approaching your solves. So hopefully I presented some interesting ideas that you guys can start trying out. Keep in mind, as I mentioned before, this is just my personal experience, so if you try it out and it doesn't work for you, alright, maybe try it out a second time. If it doesn't work again, maybe do the opposite of what I said, because everyone's different. People get stressed out by different things. This is just for me, and maybe it works for you, maybe not. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I get better at competing and you also get better at competing.